Today I'm going to talk about green card by marriage. I've been talking about green card through lottery and all other ways. So today let's talk about green card by marriage. So as it is, once you get married to a US citizen, you are allowed to process, to apply and to get green card through your spouse, as long as your spouse is a US citizen. But there are processes, there are some documentations someone has to go through. And one of the process is the green card interview. And I will explain that will be the overall content of this particular video. So welcome to the EBM Scholars Show, and I'm Ernest Boniface Makulilo. Myself, I'm not immigration lawyer. Let's start with that as a disclaimer. But I know a lot about immigration. And myself, I went through the same process to apply, the process everything until the interview and to got my green card through marriage process. And I studied some of the immigration law courses, and I've did my research. I didn't use attorney. I did everything on myself. And I've so far, for the over a period of 11 years, I've been going to 12 years in the US. I've helped over almost more than 50 people to fill the forms and to prepare for this kind of interview and all the processes. So I can say I have enough experience to be able to give you advice on the procedures, how you can go through about it. So number one process is a marriage. You have to get married. So once you get married, there is a marriage license. So this is sample of the marriage license. So this is my marriage license when I got married on May 1st, 2010. So once you get married, it doesn't matter whether you get married in church, whether you get married in mosque, whether you get married at the county office. It doesn't matter whether you get married at the beach with someone coming to officiate your wedding. You will have the same document from the government, the marriage license, where you will fill your information and your witnesses, your best man and the maid of honor, whatever, they are going to go to fill the same form and they're going to sign as witness of what is going on. So after having this one, then you will send this marriage license back to the county office. They are going to put the finalization. Then they are going to send it to you, the final one already registered into the state which you got married. So after that, it doesn't matter when you are going to apply for the green card. You can get everything. You can get married today. You can take it to the county office. They're going to register, and tomorrow you can go ahead and apply for the green card by marriage. So it doesn't matter when you apply. For me, it was a little bit different. I got married on May 1st, but I didn't want to apply right away. I applied almost a year later. So it depends on what you want. But once you get married, you apply. So my advice for many people is, one, don't get married almost at the last day of your visa. So for instance, you are here on a student visa, and then maybe your visa is going to expire, or you are going to graduate, then you are going for OPT. 1 month later, 1 month before the deadline, or your visa to expire, you get married, you apply right away on the green card by marriage. That looks like suspicious that you didn't get married because of love and you feel someone you have been together and you want to start the life together. You are just doing a backup plan on to stay in the US because just your visa is going to expire. So I'm giving you some of the things they will come to the interview because you are putting yourself. So usually I tell people, number one, if you are here under a certain visa, don't wait until the last minute to get married and to file your documentation. So just once you get married, for instance, you have been here, you are coming here, maybe you are doing, let's say, PhD, and the PhD is 4 years. If you get married maybe year 1 or year 2, year 3, is not a problem, but don't wait until you get married like 1 month or 20 days left for your visa to expire. That already is going to bring suspicious at the end during the interview processes. They're not going to deny, but they have to prove certain things. So after doing everything, you're going to fill 2 forms, mainly 2 forms. There are other forms, but I'm talking to 2 main forms. There is called I-130, 130. That one is the form American citizen, your spouse. If the husband is the American citizen or the wife is American citizen, is going to fill that particular form. That form American citizen is going to fill to justify this person is my spouse, is my relative, is my immediate family. So you are establishing the relationship. So you fill that form. That's number one. Secondly, there is another form. Because you are already in the US, you are filling form I-485. Adjustment of status form. That form, you are adjusting your status from the visa you are having. If it's a student visa, if it's H1 visa, which is working visa, if it's a religious visa, R1, if it is whatever kind of visa, to transfer to green card. All the visa will be having is called a non-immigrant visa. So you are moving from non-immigrant visa to immigrant visa to become immigrant visa, which is a green card holder. So you fill that form, and there are the cost is different. So the total cost of these two forms is around 1,500, 1,500, just like total average. And then there is another form which I'm advising you to fill, is a form for working authorization. For those who are students, they know this form is a form, I forgot the number, but it's the form which you apply, usually you fill, and you pay $375, if not mistaken, to get the work authorization. But if you are applying for the green card by marriage, this form, if you apply together this one, you can fill that form, usually is free of charge. But if you don't submit this form together, you are going to do later on your own, you have to pay 300 and something. So just use that form also together. So you fill the form. After filling the form, it goes to the government. After going to the government, within maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks max, you will be called, you will receive a notification. You have to go, they'll send you a notification and instruction. You have to go to a particular area to do the fingerprint. I'm not talking about there are within the there's form I-485 and 130. I'll talk to those form in another video, because there are certain things about the financial, about other things. This video is not about that. This video is just like the process is quicker. You are going to do the fingerprint. Then after fingerprint, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, you will get the card, the work authorization card. The same card like people who are getting under OPT, you get that card. So that card allows you to start working. Is 1 year card. Assumption is within 1 year you will get your green card. But some people they get within 6 months. Some people they get longer than that. So depending how it is, but the average in many places is 6 months. But sometimes it goes to a year depending on how many people are applying, or especially in the region you are or the office you are for the interview. You need to be called for the interview. So then you'll be called for the interview. So on the interview, because while you are submitting those forms, I-130, I-485, those forms, there are certain documentation you have to submit. One of the documentation is the marriage license, to say that you are married. But apart from marriage license, what other documents you need to support? You need to submit documentation to prove that beyond the marriage license, you are husband and wife. So some of the documentation you need to submit includes maybe joint bank account. So either while you are fiancé, you are spouse, whatever, before you get married, or after getting married, you need to have at least joint bank account. If you are working, you can be obviously expect to have health insurance, something like that. If maybe you have been married for a little bit longer, maybe more than a year, I'm giving an example, you have a tax return, you find as joint account, you submit the tax return information to show that you are already husband and wife. If you live in the same apartment, you are in the lease together, you can submit that one. If you have auto loan or auto insurance, you can just submit those documentation. But if you have a child together, you don't need to submit any other document. You submit just birth certificate of the child, because if you have a child, it takes out everything. So you can just do that. For instance, while I applied for the lottery, I mean for the paperwork, for me, I already have a child. My son Benedict over there smiling already was born, so it was a year later. So we submitted also the birth certificate for the child, even if we had all other documentation to show, but also submitted the birth certificate. So when you go to the interview, at that time, you don't need to submit the pictures for the wedding. You don't submit all other things. Then you are going for the interview. So how do you prepare for the interview? This is the biggest part. I've seen so many videos. People are giving you tricks. Like, okay, start preparing, and the husband and wife, they sit down and they start asking questions. Where did we meet? Where did we... They start like having like questionnaires. And if you go to the Google search, you type green card by marriage questions. You will see over 50 questions, 100 questions, they are there. My advice, number one, don't go to read those questions because you will be fake. You will not be yourself. Don't worry anything. As long as your marriage is valid, as long as you dated that person, as long as you engage that person, you get engaged, you went to get married, you went for honeymoon together, you live together, husband and wife, I guarantee you, you don't need those questions. Because if you read those questions, you are going to be suspected that you are cheating. Why? Because some of the question will be, okay, where did you meet? They will ask you a question. Where did you meet, for instance? That is the question. So you don't need to sit down, you and your husband and wife, to talk about where did you meet. You don't need that one. Because you know where you met. For instance, I met my wife on certain place. Obviously, you know. If they ask you, where did you go for the first date? You don't need to prepare for that. You know. If they ask you a question, okay, so where did you go for honeymoon? Obviously, you'll be having the same question. You cannot say, I went to Hawaii, and another person will say, oh, I went to Cancun. Those are two different areas. Hawaii is within the US, but outside a little bit, and Cancun is in Mexico. So you cannot have different answers because you were together on those one. And also, when you go there together over there, they see the body picture. If you're husband and wife, they know, they see that. So those are the things you don't need to prepare for. It is natural. But if you start preparing, they will see this is fake. Because you'll be answering like a script you memorized. And that is the problem. If you memorize like a script, as a certain kind of like this is a questionnaire, is a problem. Just remember, for those who have been watching movies, there is a movie of Debbie White, and I think it's Debbie White. It's called, I don't remember, it's called the Green Card. It's called Proposal, but it's about green card marriage. Some people, they got married, but one is Canadian, but was about time to be going back to the country, back to Canada, but they got married, but at the beginning, it was just a fake marriage. But they prepared all the question. But while they were answering one question, they said, oh, but they answered one question separately, which is a very crucial information. Because they say, oh, but this is, he forgot, and they say, like, but we didn't prepare that question in this way. We didn't know. So you don't prepare the exact question. You husband and wife. But if they suspect anything, they separate you with the rooms. And they will ask you the same question. They will ask the same question. What did you eat this morning, breakfast, for instance? What is the name of someone's mother? If you are married, you have to know the name of the mother of your wife. If you are married, you have to know the name of the husband's father. You don't need to know. For instance, obviously, there are those things. For me, my wife cannot know everybody at my family because we are 13. Okay, she knows the names while we got married, but she doesn't need to know exactly detail. Where do they live? How old are they? All those, you don't need to have all those, but they know for sure. You know this person, you get married, you know one another. And if you have a child together, go with that child in the interview, just in case. So, that is kind of the interview. So the interview, don't start preparing, memorizing those questions. Is a bad advice people are giving. Because you'll end up mess up a question because you prepared. One person say, this will be the answer. And then obviously like, okay, it's just for instance like you prepare maybe favorite food, you say pizza, but for me I don't eat pizza. My wife likes pizza. Okay, for instance, so for instance, I cannot say that's my favorite food because I'll be lying, and they'll detect that I'm lying, and then you're going to be in trouble. Even if it's a real marriage, then they can separate you, or they can just take you, go back, and then come to another interview. So don't complicate life. As long as you are married together, you'll be fine. Because the questions are not there to trick you. They are there to see the documentation, the wedding photos. They are going to see there, okay, you have the marriage license. They see the marriage license. They see the bank statement, which should show that you are joint account. They see maybe you are in the health insurance, dental insurance, or auto insurance. You have a child together. They see all those documentation, but they still have to make sure. So those are the things, obvious, as husband and wife, you will be fine. So what happens after the interview? And obvious, you have to go with your passport also. Like the original passport, you have to go with it. So after the interview, that depends on the person who is interviewing you. There are some people, they will tell you, just go, we'll let you know. They don't give you the answer that way. There are some people, the immigration officers who are giving the interview, they will tell you, okay, well, within 10 days, you'll get your card. So congratulations by getting green card, but you will just make it official. By within 10 business days, you'll get your card. For my the person who interviewed my wife and I just told me right away, okay. And the interview didn't take even like, it didn't take longer because he just took some photocopies, whatever. That's all. And we were with a child over there together. And the guy was starting talking about the movies because I had the accent. He has visited some of the African countries. And he asked a few questions. And it was simple like that. Less than 5-10 minutes, we were over. And then he said, okay, within 10 days, you'll get your visa. And then that's all. So depending like each person to person, some people they tell you right away, some people they didn't tell you right away. So, but no matter what, within 10 to 15 days max, you'll get your green card. Yeah. So there are some people that get denied, or sometimes you are told to go and bring certain documentation. You can do that. So don't start complicating. Bring attorney. Attorney for what? You got married. It's a legal marriage. And this is your wife, you have been married, and then maybe you have been 4 months after wedding, then you apply for the green card. So why do you need the attorney to be with you in the interview? What are you hiding? And even if there is one regulation, you have to know this way. Let's say you came to America under student visa or tourist visa, but your visa has expired. You got married. When you apply for the green card, by marriage and processing everything. Sorry, whenever I'm talking about the lottery, because it's the time to apply for the lottery. And I've been answering so many questions about the lottery, so I'm getting confused sometimes. Sorry about that. So, when you fill the form and you submit everything, even if you are out of status, they are not going to take you out to go back to your country. Because the day you came here for the first time, you came under legal documentation. But if you came as illegal under the mango tree, sneaking to America, to wherever, you didn't go through airport, you didn't stamp your visa, your passport doesn't have a stamp at the immigration office, customs and immigration office. Even if you get married, you have to go back outside and then to come legally first. So those are the only difference you can see. Yeah. So those are some of the things. So if you have any question about the green card by marriage and the interview, I will talk in a separate video about how to properly fill the form I-30, 485, and all other forms, like how do you get the affidavit of support in terms of financial, tax documentation. I will talk into a separate video, not this one. So thank you, everyone. Please subscribe and share this video to everyone. And if you have any question with regard to green card or immigration, and you think that I can be able to assist you, just write down in the comment below, and I'll be happy to respond to you. Thank you so much, and all the best. Goodbye.